Hi class, this is your first flipped classroom video for the school year. Again, we've been going over this in class. Green means go, so anytime you see me writing with a green pen, you will be pausing and copying down whatever I am writing. Whenever you see a red pen, red means stop, stop and watch. So you will stop writing and you will just watch my example. If at any time during this video you need to pause it, go ahead and pause it to take your notes. If you come across something that is difficult, go ahead, pause, rewind, and rewatch that section. So today we are starting a new unit. We're going to be starting Unit 2. Our first lesson is using order of operation, PEMDAS, and it's found in Swun 2-1 and 2-5. Tonight, our learning objective is tonight I will evaluate, that's just another word for solve, expressions containing parentheses. So again, today I will evaluate or solve expressions containing parentheses. Our vocabulary. Our first word is an expression. An expression is a problem without an equal sign. So it's just a problem without the equal sign or the answer. So for example, 5 times 6 is an expression. Expressions can get more difficult when we have more numbers involved, like 7 plus 2 minus 4. That is still an expression because they don't have equal signs. Our next vocabulary term is solution. A solution is just another way to say an answer. Okay, we are now going to move on to our notes section. This is kind of a beefier section. Sometimes we don't have as many notes, but we're really going to focus on our notes section today. Whenever a problem has more than one operation, again, operation is like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, you must use the order of operations. And that's what we're going to go over right now. PEMDAS is the order that we have to follow whenever there's more than one operation. So PEMDAS, some people say, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, whatever you guys need to use to help you remember your order of operations. So parentheses the P stands for parentheses. And remember, we just talked about this. Sorry about that, but it should get clear now. Parentheses, we just learned about parentheses. This is our symbol for parentheses. And remember that there are also brackets that are in the parentheses family. We used these parentheses and brackets when we did expanded form last unit. Our E, so first we'll come up with our parentheses. Next step that we would do would be E, exponents. And again, we saw exponents last unit when we had 10 to the second power, 10 to the fourth power, 10 to the third power. Again, that little number, that is our exponent. Our next order of operations that we would use is M for multiplication. So multiplication, again, 3 times 5. You guys are all familiar with our multiplication sign. Sometimes we might come across a problem where 3 times 5 is written like this. If a number is in parentheses and then there's another number touching it, that still means that it's multiplication. We will see both of these in 5th grade, and another one that you may see, but you'll see definitely later on in your education, is 3. This is not a decimal point, but it's actually up higher. 3 times 5. That's just another symbol for multiplying. Okay, next order of operation is D, or division. And we might be familiar with 20 divided by 4. This is our standard form that we're used to. And a new form that you guys might be familiar with is fractions. 20 divided by 4. And our fractions sometimes might look like this. By now you might be guessing what the A and the S are. A is addition. And we have our normal addition sign, and S is subtraction. With our subtraction sign. When you guys practice your math facts, you guys might notice that multiplication and division are always together, and addition and subtraction, they go together. Same in PEMDAS. So when you come up with a problem that has more than one operation, you might not have every single thing listed in PEMDAS. You might have 2 multiplication signs and a division sign. These two go together. So whenever you come across a multiplication and division sign, you go from left to right. Same for addition. Whenever you come across an addition sign or a subtraction sign, you go left to right. Okay, again, multiplication and division are a team, addition and subtraction are a team. So the team works together to go left to right. Left to right. And you will see that more clearly after I've given an example, after we've seen some of our steps. So now we're going to move on to our steps. Our first step is to write PEMDAS. We want to write this every single time, no shortcuts. So first step, write PEMDAS. On top of each problem, we circle multiplication and division go together, addition and subtraction go together. The more we write it, the more it will make our learning stick. Our next step is to cross off PEMDAS as we go. Again, cross off PEMDAS as you go. Next bullet point says 1 step at a time. This is important. Do not skip steps. If you skip steps or you try to do multiple steps at once, you may end up skipping them and end up with the wrong answer. Do 1 step at a time. Next bullet point says use carets. You might be wondering, why do I need to bring a vegetable into my math lesson? This is a carrot in math, and we will see it right away when I go over my example. And then our last bullet, or our last step, is to rewrite the problem as you go. I'm going to have these steps off to the side, just like what you guys should have when you are doing your problems. And now I'm getting my red pen, which means that you are following along, but you are not writing. So my problem says, compare these expressions. Which expression will give you a solution of 22? So I'm going to look at my steps. My first step says to write PEMDAS. So I'm going to write PEMDAS on top of each problem. PEMDAS. I'm going to circle the M and the D, circle the A and the S. Step number 2 says solve. Cross off PEMDAS as you go. So my first letter is a P, and I'm going to refer back to my notes. P stands for parentheses, so I'm going to look in my problem. Do I see parentheses? I do see parentheses. So I'm going to make my caret. I'm doing 1 step at a time, and I'm going to use carets. All of these go into solving. Okay, so I'm going to first solve my P. I'm going to cross off the P. I have my caret. 3 minus 2 is 1. My next step says rewrite the problem as you go. So I have I have 8 times 1. So now I need to rewrite that. I have 8 times 1. My order of operations says E is next. Exponents, I don't see any exponents, so I can cross that off. Next is multiplication. I see multiplication, so I can go ahead, cross that step off, and I can make my caret and do 8 times 1. 8 times 1 equals to 8. I'm actually done, so there's no more steps that I need to do, so I could just cross them off. I'm all done. So I always circle my answer. My next problem, I'm still not done because I have to compare these two. So I need to solve B. So again, I look at my steps. My first step says to write PEMDAS on top of each problem. So I'm going to write PEMDAS. M and D go together, A and S go together. Next step says solve. I need to cross off as I go. I need to do it one step at a time, use carets, and rewrite the problem. So my first step is parentheses. I'm going to cross off parentheses. Do I see any parentheses? I don't see any parentheses. So now I can move on to E. E is exponents. I look here. Do I see any exponents? I don't see any exponents, so I can cross it off. Next step is M, multiplication. I see multiplication. So I'm going to draw my caret. I'm going to solve 8 times 3. 8 times 3 equals to 24. Now I have 24 minus 2. I need to rewrite that. 24 minus 2. I cross off my M because I finished my multiplication. I look here. Do I have any division? I don't have any division. Do I have any addition? I don't have any addition, so I cross off the A. And lastly, I'm left with subtraction. So I'm going to make my caret, and I'm going to solve. 24 minus 2 is 22. I am not finished with the problem yet. I've solved A and I've solved B. Now I need to compare these expressions. Which expression will give you a solution of 22? B is my answer. B will give me a solution of 22. Okay, I have one more example for you. Number 2, 24 minus parentheses, 6 minus 2 parentheses. Step number 1, refer back to your notes. It says to write PEMDAS on top of each problem. Circle the M and D, circle the A and S because those go together. Now I need to cross off as I go. So I start with P, I look for parentheses. I found parentheses right here. So I need to cross off my P, make my caret, and solve. 6 minus 2 is 4. Now I have 24 minus 4. I need to rewrite it. 24 minus 4. Now I look for E. Do I see any exponents? I don't see any exponents. Now I go to M. Are there any multiplication signs? I don't see any multiplication signs, so I'm going to go on to D, division. Are there any division signs? No division signs, so I go to A, no addition signs. So now I'm on S. I found a subtraction sign. I'm going to make my caret, and I'm going to solve. 24 minus 4 equals to 20. So my answer for 2 is 20. Okay, you're going to get out your green, I'm going to get out my green pen, so you're going to get out your pencil. We're going to do these 3 problems together, and then you're going to work on your homework. So number 1, compare these expressions. Which expression will give you a solution of 6? I go to A, I write PEMDAS on top. Circle the M and D, circle the A and S. Now I look for parentheses. I don't see any parentheses. I'm following my steps. I'm crossing off as I go. No parentheses. Next is E, exponents. I don't see any exponents, so I'm going to cross off exponents. M, multiplication. I don't see any multiplication signs, so I'm going to cross off M. D, division. I don't see any division signs, so I'm going to cross off D. Next is addition. I do see an addition sign here. I also see a subtraction sign. And earlier we circled the A and the S, and we say they work as a team. They work together. They're equal in the order. So we have to go left to right, meaning I need to start with my subtraction and do that one first. 15 minus 7 is 8. So I cross off that as I go, and now I have my addition. So I need to rewrite 8 plus 2, and now I can solve 8 plus 2. That equals to 10. Don't get confused. Don't do 7 plus 2 first, because if I do 7 plus 2, I'm going to get 9. 15 minus 9 is 6. That's going to get me a different answer than 10. Okay, let's try B. First step, I write PEMDAS on top. I circle the M and D together. I circle the A and S together. And I'm going to cross off as I go. I'm looking for the first one, P, parentheses. I see a parentheses, so I'm going to cross off, and I'm going to draw my caret, and I'm going to solve 7 plus 2. 7 plus 2 equals to 9. Now I'm going to look for exponents. I don't see any, so I crossed off. I don't see any. Oh, I forgot a step. I'm sorry. I need to rewrite 15 minus 9. So 15 minus 9. I don't see any exponents. I don't see any multiplication signs. I don't see any division. I don't see any addition. I see subtraction though, so I'm going to go ahead and solve. 15 minus 9 is 6. So now I have to solve it. Compare these expressions. Which expression will give you a solution of 6? It is B. So my answer is B. Again, addition and subtraction go together, so you have to go left to right. Number 2, we need to write PEMDAS. I don't have room to write it on top, so I'm going to write it down below. I'm going to actually rewrite this so I can cross off as I go. 24 minus 2 minus 4 times 2. First step says parentheses. I see 2 sets of parentheses. So I actually am going to work left to right. We always work left to right when there's 2 of them. So I'm going to do this parentheses. 24 minus 2 is 22. And now I need to rewrite. So I'm going to write 22 minus 4 times 2. So I need to rewrite whatever's left over. Now, I actually need to check again. P, there's still more parentheses, so I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to just cross it off twice. I'm going to do that parentheses again. 4 times 2 is 8. I need to rewrite 22 minus 8. I rewrote whatever I had before right here. Now I go to E. I don't see any exponents. I go to M. I don't have any multiplication. I don't have any division. I don't have any addition. I have a subtraction sign, so I'm going to subtract 22 minus 8. 14. 14 is my answer. And I'm done. Remember to always circle your answers. Okay, step number 3. Place parentheses in the correct place in order to get the solution of 5. Ooh, this is a tricky one. So what we're actually going to do, I'm so sorry, we are going to pause. I'm getting out my red pen, and I realized I didn't go over a problem that is similar to that. So again, I'm going to show you an example, and then you will write that next one. 3, I have a red pen, so you're just watching. Place parentheses in the correct place in order to get the solution of 30. Again, we have our PEMDAS. We're still following the same steps. I'm going to solve it one time without adding any parentheses and just see if I can go left to right, if that would work. Because there's really only 2 places we can have parentheses, around the 3 and the 12, around the 2 and the 12 and the 2. So I'm going to first solve it without parentheses. So I don't see any parentheses. I don't see any exponents, but I see multiplication. So I'm going to do the multiplication first. 3 times 12. 3 times 12 is 36. I rewrite 36 minus 2 because whatever's left over. Now I look, there's no division, there's no addition, but there is subtraction. 36 minus 2. 36 minus 2 is 34. So if I did that, what's my first step that I did? I first did 3 times 12. So that's where my parentheses actually would have been for that one. I'm going to rewrite this problem again. 3 times 12 minus 2. This time, I'm going to put the parentheses on the other side. So I'm going to write PEMDAS. I'm going to circle the N and the D, circle the A and the S, and I'm going to start parentheses. I need to do 12 minus 2 first, which is 10. Rewrite the rest. 3 times 10. Cross it off. I don't have any exponents. I have multiplication. 3 times 10. When I solve it, I get 30. There's nothing else, so I have my answer. Where is the correct place to put it? Is it around the first group or is it around the second group? It's around the 12 and the 2. Same thing that we did for this one. We're going to get out our... I'm getting out my green pen again, so you guys are copying down. Number 3 says place parentheses in the correct place in order to get the solution of 5. Before we get started, I need to change one of those signs. I'm sorry, there was a typo, so it should say 25 divided by 2 plus 3. So just like my last example that I went over, we are going to need to add parentheses. So I'm just going to rewrite this 2 times to solve with parentheses in the different spots. So again, I can put parentheses around 25 divided by 2, and I could put parentheses around 2 plus 3. So I'm going to write 25 divided by 2 with parentheses plus 3, and then I'm going to write it 25 divided by parentheses 2 plus 3. So those are the only places where I can add parentheses to these problems, and I'm just going to start with this one. Write PEMDAS above it and follow all of my steps. So I'm going to check off as I go. So first one is P, parentheses. My parentheses is 25 divided by 2. And I'm actually going to pause. 25 divided by 2, that cannot go into equally. And I'm actually going to end up with like a fraction or a decimal number, which there is no fraction or decimal in my answer. So I'm going to move on to the next one and see if I can get a solution with 5. So I actually can't solve that. That's kind of unknown at this point in 5th grade. So I'm going to try the parentheses around the 2 and the 3, 2 plus 3, to see if I can solve it and end up with an answer of 5. So again, I start with writing PEMDAS above it. I'm going to cross off my P and do my parentheses. 2 plus 3 is 5. Now I just need to rewrite what I had left over, 25 divided by 5. So 25 divided by 5. And now I'm going to do exponents. I don't have any exponents. I don't have any multiplication, so I'm crossing it off. And I'm at division. 25 divided by 5 equals to 5. So I found my solution. I have to put the parentheses around the 2 and the 3. 2 plus 3 in order to get a solution of 5. Okay, you now have 3 homework problems right here that I would like you to solve on your own. And then once you have finished, please rate your understanding. In class, I'm going to check that you have all of your homework problems completed and anything that we've written in green. Have a wonderful evening.